All right, guys, so third episode of A Quick Razz. I have my good friend Shane, aka Realism. I've known this guy for 12 long years. He's given me more eye twitches, made the hair stick up on the back of my neck more than anybody when he tags me in a post. Shane has done some amazing graphic design work for people in grappling to music. He's done every type of work you could imagine in that industry, and he's someone that just keeps getting more and more work that keeps getting better and better. So I hope you enjoy this episode. How'd you find hip hop and what appealed to you about the culture?
I found it, basically it's always been around since I was a kid, because I was fortunate enough to have two older cousins that were just slightly older, like 3 years older than me. They would give me their hand-me-down CDs, bits and pieces. So like I wasn't really into music before that, so I would have been like eight or nine maybe. And I was getting like Public Enemy, Gravediggers, Tribe Called Quest, basically shoved into my head from an early age. So from there, I started playing basketball, and in the late 90s, basketball and hip hop were pretty much coinciding in the States. So all the highlight videos had hip hop soundtracks, rap songs were referencing basketball. That was kind of hand in hand. And as I got older and moved into more like skate culture and that as well, the highlight videos basically just stayed with me since then. And then I don't know what appealed to me about it. It was just what it was.
Yeah.
And then as you get older and you leave your school friends, the people who you're basically forced to be friends with because you live in the same area, and you can choose your own friends with common interests. That's just what everyone was into. That's how it went.
It's funny, I found a Tribe Called Quest from an MMA highlight with Melvin Manhoof.
That's an odd combination.
Dude, he just kicked the hell out of these dudes in this highlight, and that's how I found a Tribe Called Quest. You've obviously got a massive interest in street art and everything that comes with that, with a big hip hop vibe. How'd you get into art?
Like art itself, I've always sort of been pretty good at drawing. And I guess being an only child, I didn't have someone to kick a ball with, so I would just draw. There's only so many times you can shoot hoops and chase your own balls down the backyard or whatever, so that got tiring. So basically just through that, took an interest in it, always chose the arty sort of classes at school because that was just easy. And then from there, that coinciding with, the hip hop culture and being friends with these sort of people, you just come across graffiti. It's impossible to not be involved in that sort of scene as well. And that was sort of just parallel, side by side as I got older. From there, being a sign writer was also basically graffiti, but with straight letters and on buildings that you're allowed to do. So same principles, yes, get paid for it, same principles. That's basically it really. And then just contemporary art I've always sort of been drawn to. So when you go to a new city, travel, always just check out the museums. I'm not an expert or anything by any means, but I just always like checking it out.
I mean, I've always known that you've, followed, shoes like the Nikes, and you've always been reading those types of books too. You get your influence from, or inspired by those types of guys that started with that and built a brand?
Yeah, a lot of that, like in the design world, a lot of people just cross different mediums. So like guys like Virgil and whatnot, they'll do like cover art, but then they'll make a shoe. Then they'll make like a jacket, like textile design. They're all different mediums, but I find like the principles of design all goes through everything. And a lot of that, like they say there's a difference between art and design. Art doesn't need a purpose, it's just something that you can do. Whereas design has to have a solution, like a problem that you're trying to solve.
Oh, true, yeah.
That's just what you sort of, that's how they differentiate the two. But there's like a massive grey area that overlaps between the two as well. And I think a lot of the people that came up just before me, the people that I sort of look up to, were the best ones at like merging the two, like art and design. Because in school it's lumped together, but they're actually two completely different things.
Yeah, I did design at school, and we ended up doing photography and shitting that.
Yeah, like the design is
They just threw it all together. Yeah,
it's such a broad field, like which it's so hard to like a photographer can be like a job for someone that just shoots like school photos, or it can be someone's art, or it can be like design, like you know product photos, bits and pieces as well. That all adds to like certain brands have different ways that like photos that they use, like Supreme and that 35mm grainy photos. That's their brand.
Yeah,
you can always tell their photos and their film by that. So it's just another way of, I guess, for brands to communicate to their audience, which is where it fits in with the design aspect. But as far as shoes, that's another hip hop thing, and yeah, it's just something I like to waste money on, really.
Yeah. It's an expensive bloody hobby.
Yeah.
Obviously, expensive hobbies as well, like tattooing. You've covered in tattoos. When you first started getting into tattoos, was that just because of like the art, or were you just like me that idolised Travis Barker and tried to do it to get girls?
Yeah, no, definitely not really an art thing for me. I honestly do not know why I started getting tattooed, but I just didn't stop.
Yeah.
Until now, I'm too old and it hurts too much.
It does hurt, eh? I'm all about the numbing cream these days.
But yeah, there's a massive crossover between when you're saying like photographers, clothing designers, graphic designers, tattooists are pretty much in the same world, just with their medium.
Yeah,
it's a lot more permanent than ours. Like I can hit undo.
Yeah. Well, then you've got a guy like Cooker who just fucking does it all. Like, saves some talent for the rest of us, eh? How'd you get started with graphic design?
So basically, my tertiary education it was in marketing. There was a small graphic design part of that for the advertising element of it. Well, I finished that, didn't really do anything with it career-wise, but then I went to trade school for sign writing, which was like, I thought, okay, this is similar to marketing and it's also art related. I'll go into that. Once again, going to trade school, there was an element of design there, graphic design there, because if you're doing a shop face or whatever, you need to know how to space things, and yeah, like the spacing, like the hierarchy where people's eyes are drawn to, that's all taught as part of sign writing. So I learnt the basics through that and how to like use vector programs and bits and pieces there. And then the rest I'm just self-taught, just me wanting to do better stuff, going on YouTube and tutorials and just playing for hours and spending years of my life.
Yeah.
Just, up all night playing with things.
So when I used to say you used to just lick stickers and put them on windows in offices, I was completely wrong.
No, you're pretty right. There was a lot of that. Yeah, so that's basically those two things brought me to this, and then it's just basically an outlet I found.
Well, you work with some big names from, like I'd hate to know how many gym logos and stuff that you've done around Australia, and then people that I put you onto that just waste your time. But then, you do the stuff for B Team with Craig, and then like, Jedi Mind Tricks, which I know you've been a big fan of those guys for years. That must be wild being able to just work with, you designed a bloody G-Shock and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you've done. Did you ever think you'd be doing stuff for such big names?
No, it was never the plan. I'm glad that it ended up that way. I can always tell when Craig has posted something of mine or shared it or yourself, the next 2 weeks are basically just jiu-jitsu gyms wanting logos.
Yeah.
And the same with Vinny and that as well, like from Jedi Mind Tricks, like it's a weird one. Like the more you put out of something, the more that comes back in. Yeah. So like if I'm posting about gyms and stuff, that's all the work is for the next, that just starts coming in. It must be the way the algorithms work or whatever. So I've sort of learned how to, like, if I want to do something, if I want to spend a few months, I feel like doing a record, I can just post old records I've done, and then I know eventually my inbox will have someone in there wanting their record done. Yeah. And it's but as far as like working with like the bigger names, and it's surreal sometimes. I look at my WhatsApp, like recent messages, and it's just like, you used to listen to that guy, used to listen to that guy.
Yeah.
Craig saying something stupid. like Amon the singer, I've done some stuff for him. Like it's pretty crazy looking through it.
Yeah, I can only imagine some of the ridiculous things Craig's asked you at probably ungodly hours of the morning, wherever part of the world he's in.
Yeah, he's a strange one. Like the difference between because B team stuff and then like the Jedi Mind stuff are probably my two. Enough priority is the right word, but they're the two people that I would always make time for to do their stuff. I like doing it, get on with everyone. But the two workflows are just like the most opposite ends of the spectrum you can think of. Like Vin and his business partner Jan, and the Jedi guys, they're a team. They're a well-oiled machine. They've been doing it for 25 years. There's like dates that we're working towards. We work back from like stuff we're doing now might not come out till next year.
Yeah.
And like things get double-checked, triple-checked. There's revisions. Craig, it's just an Instagram message at 3 a.m. from some country going, what about this? And after I've opened my eyes and read it, I'll do like a little mock-up for him. Nothing will get said. Money will just land in my account randomly, and then he'll be wearing what it is in 2 weeks. And there's like not another word said about it, which can be frightening.
Yeah,
but I've had to learn that if I'm going to send him something, I have to be comfortable with it from the very start because he won't make any changes and he'll just send it.
You did the nose beers ones for him, right?
Yeah, well, New Balance did that, but
yeah. We'll cut
not a whole lot of design. A lot of Craig's stuff is very. It borders the line of straight up copyright infringement. Yeah. But again, coming back to like street culture and bits and pieces, that's how Supreme got started. Their logo is just a jacked logo from something else.
Yeah, no shit.
A lot of their t-shirts are just jacked logo. Tons of bands do it. It's just Craig's platform now is way bigger than anyone else I do that for. Yeah. So I just let him deal with whatever repercussions come.
Yeah.
I think even in that B Team documentary, he said he designed the Bulls, the B Team Bulls.
Oh yeah.
Because from the start I was like, this is you. I'm just moving the mouse for you.
He did. No, this wasn't that guy. What's changed in your approach from when you first started in the game to where you're at now with it?
I think when I first started, and I was trying to prove that I was good enough to because I got hit up pretty early on by some pretty big names, and I just that imposter syndrome or whatever. A lot of people have it in different, you've probably had it as a coach.
Yeah. For sure.
A lot of people have it, and that was more me. I would just go into a project just trying to prove that I was good enough to do it and do every part of it. Whereas now I'm a bit more comfortable with myself. I'm happy to offload parts. If there's an element of something that I think someone else is better suited for, I'll bring them in because I'm not so insecure. I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't mind bringing people in as more of a creative director more than just me doing everything. Now I'll be the first person to say that I'm not a Photoshop guy. I'm not good at it. So I'll bring in a colleague or someone that I know can do that work for this person, but under my sort of, not supervision, but work with them. And then that's also helping me build up my skills as well, because I'll see how they do it and be okay, got it. So for next time, I sort of know. So just not taking on the brunt work, not losing sleep over how I'm going to do something. Before I would say yes to absolutely everything. There's a designer in the US called Chris Do, and his advice was just say yes first and figure out how to do it second.
Yep.
Which I did at the start, and I lost a lot of sleep from it. Because there was a lot of time going, oh shit, what have I done here? Yeah. I better figure out how I'm going to do this. I've just promised it. So there's less of that now. And I'm also way better now at figuring red flags from clients earlier on so that I can tell if we're not going to be a right fit. I turn down a lot of work now.
Yep.
Just because I don't want this one, I don't really want the stress of the money's not worth the stress sometimes. So I'd just rather not do it.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time, not the last probably 18 months, declining projects. Because before that I found we were just clashing heads with certain people, and I would just be you know what, here's your money back. Good luck. It's just not worth, it's not for me. So I'm very good at picking up from their tone what they're going to be like. Basically seeing, when someone hits me up and they have a little bit of design knowledge, it's usually an absolute clusterfuck because they know enough to start giving advice and direction than someone who knows nothing and they like trust you. Like in my eyes, if you're coming to me, I've got enough work out there that you're coming to me for what I can do. Like you've obviously seen it. Like,
yeah.
And then some clients would just turn that into make so many revisions that the thing that they're like, oh, you know, just do whatever you do. You're the expert. And then I'll be like, all right, here's what I would do. And they're like, it's a good start, but let's just change this, and this. And it turns into this like absolute schmozzle that was in their head before they even spoke to me. And it's like, okay, like cool. Like, and they're like, why didn't you post my thing up? I'm like, because you designed it. I just pressed the mouse for you, which I don't want to do. Like if I had known that was, I would have added another 0 on the end and made it worth my while.
Yeah.
So now I just I pick and choose my what I'm working on a lot more. And I think that's made for a happier me. I don't get so grumpy, and it makes for better work as well because I actually like what I'm doing.
Well, it's, you know, that always, it's like, to go back to tattooing, it's like we've all had those people that tell us a story about how they designed their own tattoo and they've got all these intricate plans, and then they take it to a tattoo artist and they're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are obviously artists that do that type of work, but you know, I know when I've hit you up for stuff, whether that was like the Coach or Daddy or even the logo for this, I'm like, man, I know you're going to be the one that's going to be able to turn it into something cool. And, you know, it's the same with tattoo artists where I go, I'm like, man, like, I don't know, just do something dope.
Yeah, you don't go to a portrait artist if you want like a traditional eagle or something. Like you research and you find out what they're good at and you go to them for that. It should be the same thing, but it's not that common. Like you got people that just, bless them, they don't know any better. But it just is what it is. So I've just found myself basically choosing my strengths and playing to them rather than it ending on like a sour note or whatnot. Yeah,
it's like you know, like grapplers aren't going to come to me to learn about wrestling. Like you know, even. I'm lucky at M16 because we've got so many other coaches that are so good at different things. You know, if someone asks me a technical, you know, question about a leg lock, I'd just go talk to Warren or, you know, or Moody when he's in town. Whereas, you know, there's nothing worse than those types of guys that think they know it all and they just blow smoke. And it's like, you know, we've come across them everywhere. But
definitely come across a few.
Yeah,
you get that with everything, though, I suppose. Like. Yeah, if you see a tattoo artist and they've got like, their portfolio is a portrait, a Japanese thing, a traditional thing, a fine line, it's like, some people probably can do them all and do them all well, but like, I would rather go to someone that just does what I want them to do. It's like with design, I can do, my illustration is not the best, but it's serviceable. I think I can do like the logo, you know, for this, I can do simple things and I can get there, but if someone comes to me and they want like a Santa Cruz style skateboard graphic, I'm not the guy for that. Like you'd want a specialist illustrator. Now I'm happy, like I said before, to find someone and bring them in and work with them, just depending on what else is involved. But that's not something that I would, like, if that's all they wanted, I'd be like, just go to this person. Yeah. That saves us doing 20 revisions. It saves me the stress of hoping that it's working out well. And it saves them basically getting something they might not be so happy with when there is a better option out there.
That shows a level of professionalism though, you know, like if you know your thing and, you know, whether that's like with me with grappling or with you with your design and stuff like that, you know, rather than just take something that you don't know about and saying you do, you know, that's the right way to go about it, is to do that, bring someone on board or pass it along. Yeah,
I think I'm just secure in my position. Like I just feel at ease and content with it, so I don't really mind if people go elsewhere for things. Yeah. Because I do what I do, and when they want that, they'll come back.
Yeah. And I mean, you've probably thought about putting barbed wire across this mouth a few times with this logo.
That was a dream of mine. It was making that logo, like I had a vision.
Yeah, whether I'm trolling you on Twitter or out in town. What are some of your favourite pieces of work you've done? Like the G-Shock's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, the G-Shock was cool. I only did the packaging for that, like the tin and whatnot. Not the actual watch itself. That was fun though, because it's something different. Yeah. I like doing products that are not. There's only so many screen printed T-shirts that you can be sort of excited about. Yeah. So there was that. Like the first physical thing I did for Vinny Paz was a Season of the Assassin, the 10th year anniversary. So that was previously a CD and vinyl. Not sure if it came out on tape, but we did a reissued double tape, and it was packaged like a little tiny VHS.
Oh, sick.
That was super fun. I did an actual VHS for a dude from Italy. And that was cool just because a lot of my work is references old movies and like 80s packaging and stuff, so it was cool to do an actual tape.
Yeah. Man, where would you even get a bloody cassette tape made these days, eh?
There's a company called duplication.ca, and that's who every single person goes to.
Oh, no shit.
I think they're a Canadian company. Yeah, their website, they're a Canadian company. And I've done maybe 20 to 30 cassettes for different musicians, and every single one of them has come from them, like the template to work on.
Oh, no shit.
So they must just be like.
Still have to use the pencil to wind it back.
Yeah, I've got them all like at home. Everything I've worked on, including the VHS, but I've never actually played one. I don't know if there's any music on them.
Yeah,
I could never prove it.
Yeah, I'd hate to know how much a Walkman or a VHS player costs these days. That's fucking showing our age right there.
eBay.
Where do you want to take your work in the future? Like, do you have like like goals or like a long-term plan?
Only as of very recently, where things have sort of not plateaued, but I'm sort of pretty happy with where I am with client work. This will probably be the first time I've actually mentioned this to people that aren't involved, but I'm actually starting my own like type foundry, it's like a font company.
Oh, sick.
Where it's basically I'm going to bring in, so I've already made 3 of my own fonts from scratch. Different tattoo artists, basically get them to draw their own alphabets, and then I'll make them into like a font that people can then download, like yourself or whoever, onto their computer, and it'll just work like a normal font. So you can use it in Word, you can use it in Canva.
Oh, sick.
So that's basically what I'm pouring
So
a lot of my.
buy Comic Sans from the old Microsoft Word, eh?
Yeah, you can put that to rest.
Yeah.
So it's called Pavement to Pixels, like from the streets to the screen.
Oh, that's mad.
And it's basically just going to be different guests doing we're making fully usable fonts, like grounded in like street culture, so like graffiti, tattooing, hand lettering, that sort of stuff. So that's basically what I've been thinking a lot of the last few months into that. Hopefully that'll be up and running by the end of the year. So if anyone's watching this and wants to contribute, send me a message because we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's killer. I know like when you talk about like the fonts and stuff, I know when we've spoken before about certain things, and even the conversations I've heard you talk to others about is like the flow from, let's say you've got someone you're doing design work for and having that flow through all their work. So there's a similar look, but obviously each thing might be different, but it's still their brand. Yeah,
so that comes from a thing which I urge people to do if they're starting a business through me. It's like a style guide. So that'd basically be it can be like 1 page, it can be 2 pages. I've seen some companies that I've done work for that have already got one, and it's like 130 pages. And that's basically got like the logos, the different ways you can use them, stacked landscape. It's got how the logo looks on different coloured backgrounds, dark and light. So things, if you've got white lettering, it has to be different if it's on a white background, so it stands out.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like a font assigned to like their bodies of text. So if they send out an email or their website, they've got a different font for like headings if they might use for their social media, for their website, for different bits and pieces. So it's basically assigning this to a company and then that flows through everything they do. So you've got brands like Nike, anyone you can think of really, that's on that sort of level. All their font usage on everything is consistent. The spacing between the letters is consistent. All of this is in this document. So then they can go to like any designer or marketing agency, give them that, and their look will still be the same.
Oh, no, yeah.
And it even comes down to like, there's a thing like tone of voice, so like how they say things.
Yeah.
Like, Nike, they ask questions, and they've got like just do it, or like winning's not for everyone. There's a lot of like that sort of stuff, like one-liners that like, make you think. Whereas, a less, serious company like Craig, for instance, he might not know it, but he's got a tone of voice that's through his brand. Yeah, a lot of the times you don't want to hear it, but he's got one.
Yeah.
His has come organically, but I'm much more inclined to take the work if they've already got one of those, or if they want me to do it. I take great pride in setting it up for them, and seeing it go through. Like, if someone's got like, you see the social media posts go up and it's using like your templates or whatever, then they've got their email signature that's the same. Then they might see a billboard that's got the same sort of stuff. The front of their shop it all ties in, the same elements flow through everything.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to like, the colours assigning. It's not just orange, there's a Pantone colour, PMS colour, Pantone matching system, like a digit number that refers to that, so that's the same no matter whether they get t-shirts printed or it's on a computer screen or they get something painted. That keeps it all consistent.
Fuck, it must do your head in when you just see someone that's just throwing shit together, eh?
Yeah, it's not good. And especially if I see some things that I've worked on, and then for whatever reason I was too busy or whatever, and then they've gone somewhere else, and it's just like completely butchered. It's like, okay, that's cool. It's yours. You paid for it. You can do what you want with it, but it's not what I would have done.
Yeah.
Or like you see, like you should have just asked me for the font. I would have given it to you.
Yeah.
Just so that you could have. So I do have packages for people where like I will give them that document, color swatches, the font files. All the different logo files, and I'll give them a zip folder. So like, there should be no excuses, but there still will be.
Yeah. So we met. When did we meet? 2012, I reckon. So fuck, we've been mates 12 years, and we've had some good times over the years, right? You probably wanted.
Have we?
Well, you probably wanted to strangle me a few times. And we met through jiu-jitsu. I remember the coach we had at the time was telling me about you, and I think I just slid in your DMs and started chatting to you, and then you invited me out one night, and I
saw the potential. Like, this guy might have something. I better get him out.
Yeah, to a bar. Yeah. You used to see all my idiot Facebook posts that I used to put up, and you pulled me away from HQ back in the day and took me under your wing. With like you got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, you did the standard, got the belt, bounced, but with that and doing all this work for jiu-jitsu, do you think, and like obviously with the hip hop stuff and everything, being involved with stuff and then working on products, design stuff in those industries, did you think that helps, like having a bit of an idea on what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, especially like with gym logos and stuff like that, knowing like belt rankings, how belts look, how they tie, just different elements for a logo they might want to use, knowing what they are and how they work, definitely helps it feel more organic.
Yeah.
I assume that they can see that in the result as well. And yeah, as far as like music design and stuff that I do, just having always had records and CDs around, being involved in having them made on the audio side as well in the past, just knowing what goes into it, absolutely helps. And just being around some of our circle of friends that have made quite a career in music, just knowing how to like act around other musicians, I think was a big thing. Like not being too like full on, like not learning how to treat them as a person.
Yeah.
Even though I've listened to them for 10 years or whatever, and they're ringing me. I think just being around that sort of stuff all the time has certainly helped. And then obviously knowing Craig for so many years, basically, if I ever want a job doing a jiu-jitsu gym, I just drop that, and they give you the work straight away.
Yeah, they either block you or they give you the work. I had a fucking one lined up then, and it's just fucking gone. With all your social media stuff, and like, have you ever had many trolls, let's say on Twitter or anything like that?
Just one, but I don't know where he's gone. He used to hang around. He used to hang around a bit and throw a few comments out. He even got some other people believing that I was someone that I wasn't.
We did. Our mate Morns, he did think that you had a second account. He didn't realise it was just me putting up stupid photos of you.
Yeah, that was what a time to be alive.
Yeah, well,
I was talking to this last night about one of our friends with a similar sort of thing. How like when Facebook used to show everyone when you would become friends with someone.
Yeah.
So one of your mates would like befriend a girl on a Sunday, obviously they met on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then everyone would just bomb it with comments and destroy any chance that there was before it even got off the ground. That was one of the finer feelings in life.
Well, some of my best design work was always just finding photos of us out and then just zooming in on the head and then just posting that everywhere I could.
And somehow, 12 years later, Lockie Bourne still has copies of absolutely everything on his phone.
Literally everything, yeah. Yeah, I'd hate to go through his phone. We'd probably make some good money out of some of them, but Craig probably would encourage it to get posted these days.
That was around the time where nightclubs used to take like 300 photos for some reason.
Yeah.
And they'd post an album, and then you'd know when that's happened because you'd start getting the screenshots in the group chat of just your face.
Photo bombing every chance we could get with Paul Gurry on the decks. Yeah, killer. All right, well, we might fucking wrap that up.